Hello Bloomington, I'm Mayor Tim Bussey, and this is the Council Minute for the week of January 29th. On Monday night, the City Council directed staff to hold a public hearing on February 26th to get public input from residents regarding the possible transfer of ownership of the Hyland Greens Golf Course property from the City of Bloomington to the Three Rivers Park District. It's a bold proposal with some interesting possibilities, but as always, some background is needed. As I'm sure you know, Hyland Greens is a 9-hole golf course nestled between Normandale Boulevard and Nesbitt Avenue at 102nd Street. Bloomington purchased Hyland Greens in 1974. I'm sure some folks will remember that the golf course originally included 18 holes plus a driving range along Normandale Boulevard. In 2012, the 18-hole course was converted to a 9-hole course, and the driving range was relocated and expanded to occupy the center of the course. The former driving range portion along Normandale, it's been vacant and unused since. For a long time, Hyland Greens lost money. It was in the red for a number of years, and in 2015, the City Council convened the Hyland Greens Task Force and asked the group to do a comprehensive look at Hyland Greens to figure out what should be done. The group looked at budget forecasts, capital issues, and potential alternatives, and in January 2016, they presented their report. The task force recommended that the city sell the eastern portion of the golf course, the former driving range, for residential development. The city looked at potential development options and also considered selling part of the course itself if a developer would guarantee that a golf course would remain. There was a lot of discussion, quite a bit of community input, and concerns from the golf community. And eventually, the city decided not to pursue any development or sale and to continue to operate Hyland Greens as a golf course with significant taxpayer subsidy. In 2020, the city closed Hyland due to COVID-19. That same year, the City Council convened the Community Budget Advisory Committee to review city budgets and services in response to the financial impacts of the pandemic. One of the recommendations of the Budget Advisory Committee was for the city to pursue a partnership with the Three Rivers Park District for the operations of Hyland Greens. City staff and Three Rivers got together, came up with a plan, and the council eventually approved an agreement which called for Three Rivers to operate Hyland Greens for 3-year terms starting with the 2021 golf season. In the first 3 years, Three Rivers Park District has done an excellent job running Hyland Greens. Revenue and rounds played have increased significantly since 2021, and we've heard from many golfers that the overall experience at Hyland has improved. But the 3-year agreement has come to an end. And the city and Three Rivers have begun conversations about turning over ownership or conveying Hyland Greens to Three Rivers Park District. Now, turning over a sizable city asset like a golf course is not a small matter. Hyland Greens has been part of Bloomington Parks for almost 50 years. It's important green space in the city, and in a fully developed city like Bloomington, a big open space like a golf course is a valuable asset. On the other hand, Three Rivers has operated the course very successfully, and honestly, it shouldn't be a surprise. Three Rivers has 5 other golf courses they operate, and in addition to seeing some pretty significant economies of scale, they also have some impressive internal expertise on how to run a 9-hole golf course. And Three Rivers has also expressed interest in addressing some of the urgent capital investment that needs to be done at Hyland Greens, but only if they own the course. That work includes things like a new HVAC system for the clubhouse, a furnace for the maintenance shop, improvements to the irrigation system, addressing ADA accessibility issues, and getting rid of that awful fence along Normandale Boulevard. And most importantly, Three Rivers is committed to continuing to run Hyland Greens as a golf course. It's a big community decision, and that's why we're holding a public hearing. We want to hear what you think. A Let's Talk Bloomington page will be up and running shortly, and we'll also be doing a variety of outreach activities on this. Please get the facts. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me or any member of the City Council or City staff. I look forward to hearing from the community on February 26th. Earlier this week, Chief Booker Hodges swore in 5 new police officers and welcomed 3 new police cadets to the Bloomington Police Department. It's always a treat to welcome new officers and cadets, and it's always nice to see the room full of family and friends. What made this swearing in especially memorable was that this event incorporated a report and update on the shared values model of policing that the Bloomington Police Department has adopted and has been operating under for almost 2 years. Shortly after Chief Hodges came on board here in Bloomington, the Bloomington Police Department partnered with Dr. Matt Bostrom and the Center for Values-Based Initiatives to fully integrate shared values into Bloomington Police policies and practices. An important part of the process is bringing together a group of community partners who help the department understand the community values and behaviors that generate trust in the police, and then align those values with the values of the department. For example, shared values like respect, empathy, and honesty are now used to select, train, evaluate, and promote BPD staff. The community partners who were such an important part of this process were at the swearing-in ceremony, and they had a chance to meet the almost 50 BPD staff members who have either been hired or promoted under the new mission, vision, and core value of respect. It was an inspirational event, and it shows once again that Bloomington staff is second to none. Finally today, the Minnesota Legislature will convene on February 12th for their 2024 session. And on Monday night, the City Council approved Bloomington's 2024 legislative policies. City staff and the Council had a chance to preview these policies with our legislative delegation earlier this month, and Monday night, we formally adopted them. You can find the policy document online, and I encourage you to take a look if you're interested. Bloomington's legislative policies are a listing of about 24 legislative issues that are important to Bloomington, and they serve as the foundation for our advocacy efforts. At the top of our policy list are 4 important projects that we hope to see included in the state bonding bill this year. The bonding bill provides state funding for infrastructure projects, and cities, counties, and interest groups across the state submit requests in what is a competitive process. Ultimately, the governor and the legislators decide how much to spend and where to spend it. The 4 bonding-related projects we're advocating for this year include state funding for improvements to the Normandale Boulevard Trail, renovations for our athletic fields across the city, construction of a new fleet maintenance garage, and construction of Fire Station Number 2. Details on all of those projects is online for you to review. The bonding bill is generally the last bill that legislators put together, so it'll be a few months before we know if we're successful. I'll be sure to keep you updated. I will say that we've started off on a very good note. The Senate Bonding Committee visited Bloomington a couple of weeks back, learned more about our proposed projects, and saw firsthand the needs in Fire Station 2. Councilmembers Saw Mua and city staff did a great job welcoming senators and presenting our projects. Thank you so much to them. That will do it for this week's Council Minute. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, stay safe, Bloomington.